Welcome back. This is the fifth and final part of making the Cobra Sheath. It's how I airbrush my leather. I use a Canadian Tire airbrush. It's not expensive. I'll put a link to it in the description, but effectively it does a good job. I make sure I wear some gloves. Doing this is messy, there's no way around that, and I try and keep everything covered up. As I start to airbrush things, first thing I do is test it, make sure I've got air, and then open up some ventilation. I'm using a Hivox Vibings Pro stain. We can't get it anymore in Canada because of the high box content, so make sure if you're doing something like this, you've got really good ventilation. I've got the garage door open, there's a strong breeze, so between the two doors open, you can see quite a breeze blowing through the garage. I do the back sides first. I soak it quite well. The reason, just all of my leather is completely covered with stain. I believe it protects it. It helps make it last a little bit longer. And I start by doing the back sides. So I do the back sides of the leather so that everything is completely covered, making sure I've got a good thick coat. The little pieces, this is where gloves come in handy. You have to hold them down because the airbrush will blow them around. Here I made a mistake and actually put the wrong color on. When I start airbrushing, especially when I'm doing two colors, start with the lighter one, because then if you do something like this, you'll see later on I'm going to do it in the darker brown, because I've really got a two-tone sheath going on here. But all of the little pieces you have to quite often hold down, otherwise the airbrush will simply blow them away. I'm adding the darker brown now, and this is where I test it again to make sure I've got actually the darker brown coming through. And then I start off the piece. That way I get the airflow and paint flow I want through the airbrush. And I'm just doing all of the edges, creases, just to give it that two-tone look that's soft and gentle. And again, make sure you can see I start off the piece to get the right airflow. And I'm just doing all of the stitching lines. So I'm going over the entire piece. Here is the one piece where I always get nervous when I have to start spraying in the middle of a piece, because if I screw up, then I'm really in bad shape. So I'm just going over all of the stitching lines, all of the edging lines. That's what's giving it that nice two-tone look. You get that little bit of overspray into the tooled area that starts giving it that aged look. You can do it with aging gels as well. And I'm just hitting all of the seams. Backside too. Backside's important just to help finish the look of the piece. I want people to look at the piece and see it looks nice from the back and the front. And here is the welt. I should have done it dark because it's going to get burnished on the side, and it needs to be dark. So easy to go over that stuff. It's actually really fast to do. It doesn't take that long to airbrush. Make sure you soak it with stain. It's really easy to get so I do it a couple times just to get that look. And at the end of the day, you've got something like this that's ready for assembly. If you like the video, please hit the like and don't forget to subscribe for future videos.